we'll
Do you
go.
want me to text him, Ryan? Where you at?
You want me to do it, or you?
I'm typing it right now.
All right. He was grumpy earlier. You're right.
We're live.
What's grumpy?
He's grumpy. Everyone knows he's grumpy.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite
Sorry,
extraordinary?
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore? You want to be shallow? You want to go up the creek? You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated or a kayak that is simple? You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
What's up, everyone? It's 9 p.m. and it's after my bedtime, so I'm going to immediately kick it over to Mr. Drew Gregory. Thank you,
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Earlier today, you were just telling me how you're a night owl and you get all your stuff done late at night. Yeah. So we're just wanting to, get away from being on the camera today and sit behind the scenes. So, but we'll let you do that. And man, we're excited to be with you guys. After Dark version of Kayak Adventure Series Live with special guest Dust Off Fishing. Brandon, what's up? What's up, man?
What up, guys?
Not much, man. Ready to have a little fun, talk a little roundtable. Also got Mr. Jake Hepner up over there in the top left corner, which everyone knows. Yakin on Instagram.
He's technical support for me right now, is what he's doing.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We'll get it all figured out. But we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to walk everyone through a little bit about our past weekend at the Bassmaster Kayak Series, tell a few stories. And in the meantime, we're going to be also giving away lots of different products. I got tons of stuff just sitting around here that, Z-Mans. I got jackhammers. I got Yak Attack stuff. We're going to give away some extra stuff for people that sign up. Yeah, you got stuff ready to roll. Look at that. Dust Off Fishing coming with some product. And all we want to do is just, drum up a few entries for either Wild Whitehall or Ozarkana Kayak Adventure Series and give a few extra things out to those people who register for the event while we're live tonight. Now, if you're following us on Instagram, I don't know if you guys can do this. Brandon, Jake, I'm going to try my best. Billy, Instagram comments don't come through to us here on the screen. See, I can see we got, a few comments here. I can pull them in. Fishing with Fish Gal, and then Perfect Level Adventure Fishing. See, these are all coming in from YouTube, from Facebook. So if you're watching on Instagram, we need you guys to let us know if you registered for an event tonight during the show, and we'll show you guys some of the stuff you'll get. But again, that's for the individual division for Michigan, for Wild Whitehall, and for Ozarkana. Billy, I know you're back there. You're listening. What I need you to do, if you can, we need to actually probably go get a screenshot of the individual division for Michigan and Missouri right now so that we know, because TourneyX is weird sometimes. There we go. Yeah, pull up that site. TourneyX is weird, and sometimes it doesn't give the entries chronologically or the time that they entered, right? So we need to kind of make some sort of
25 on one of them.
Nice.
And I'll be refreshing them as we go along. So if I just interrupt you guys, I'll let you know we got 25.
Well, screenshot that so we know who was those 25. Because somebody in the comments says, "I just signed up." You're not going to fool us to get that jackhammer or whatever we're going to give away. That's not true because Billy screenshotted it right now. You'd already signed up. If you already signed up, we love you. You're going to get a $100 gift bag from our sponsors. But this is just a cool, fun thing. It's almost like we're doing a pledge drive or something. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to just try this. And I know people have been asking for us to do some of our lives in the evening instead of 11 a.m. And this just kind of worked out perfect. So we'll have a little fun with it. So what's up, the Creek Crawler? What's up, man? So again, if you're on Instagram, that's cool. Make a comment, but we will do our best to go check those comments. I'm going to have to actually pull it up on my phone probably and look at some of them. It's just hard to follow along. So look at that, Silver Fox Fishing, Wade over there on Instagram. What's up, man? But I'm excited, guys. We got a lot of cool stories to share. And what I want you guys to do that are watching, bring your best questions and comments. This is your chance. I got Dwayne Wally in here. What's up, Dwayne? This is your chance, guys, to literally ask us anything you want. We'll answer it in terms of like fishing techniques, tactics. Anybody watch the drama on Major League Fishing today? I'll comment on that. I was watching the whole thing go down. It was a little bit of drama on the water, a little confrontation from some anglers. So,
Dude, they've been having all kinds of problems with that. I don't know what's going on.
It's happened in all leagues lately. A lot of stuff's going on. So
I saw like before it even started, Jordan Lee posted that thing where like I find my own water or something.
Yeah. I wonder who's going to be on my honey hole or something. So
we did figure out the Instagram problems. It turns out Brandon was not at fault.
Oh,
So I want to clear his name from being technically declined.
Yeah.
Well, technically is kind of
right.
a fault, but
Well,
not in
well, it's my fault, but it's really Instagram's fault. So they're trying to keep a man down.
well, look, Nathan Pressler says he's signing up now. So if that's true, I assume from Michigan, but maybe it's Missouri. I don't know. But if that's true,
we have a lot of Missouri guys in my comments. We got Southwest Indiana Outdoors. Well, technically he's Indiana, but he said that we need to get more for Ozarkana,
Well,
which I agree. I actually just got off the phone with someone today who's going to be signing up for that event. So,
well, that's why we're doing this, man. Tell you what, the first person that can sign up for Ozarkana, I'll get you a jackhammer. I'll put it in your bag. Because here's what I'm going to do, just to make sure I stay organized and don't mess this up. You see, these are the bags that we load up the $100 worth of sponsors products in. If you were at Shoalipalooza, you got one of these bags filled with $100 worth of stuff. Your name is going to get written with Sharpie on this bag. I got a Sharpie. I'm all prepared. Sharpie, jackhammer, and your name is going to go in this bag. So I know that all your $100 worth of products are going in this bag, plus this jackhammer. First person to sign up for Ozarkana, your name's going on this bag.
I caught every single one of my fish day 2 of Guntersville on that same exact jackhammer.
Get out of here. See, I didn't even know that.
Same exact color.
I think I did too. Is that the bluegill one?
It's the one Ryan gave me.
Yeah,
He
who
was
got
like,
that
"Oh,
for
I'll
you?
give it-
Yeah.
I'll give it to you." I'm like, yeah, I need it, man. And it turned out, yeah, I really did need it.
Well, what's funny is, speaking of baits that someone gave him, I caught most of my fish on the Chapo that Brandon gave me because I was
There you go.
I was out of the bigger size Chapo, and I hate using ones that have like dull hooks, So I was like, hey man, anyone got a Chapo? I don't want to go to the store just to get one Chapo. And which, by the way, reminds me, Ryan, I still owe you $12 for that for something also. So don't let me forget. But
It all evens out in the end, man.
yeah, and Brandon wouldn't let me replace his Chapo. He gave it to me. That was impressive. I appreciate that. But I caught most of my fish on the Chapo, so we were all just sort of helping each other out at that Airbnb for the Bassmaster Kayak Series on Guntersville. Good times.
Yeah, I brought a whole tackle store and did not need to. I needed to bring like 3 lures: a frog, a glide bait, and a chatterbait.
Dude, it was like so crazy. I was thinking about this. Is I caught all my fish day 1, except for one on a frog. Right? Day 2, I didn't catch any on a frog. Caught everything on a jackhammer and a couple on that fluke thing. But other than that, like I literally didn't need I didn't need anything else. I literally didn't lose any lures either. So like I could have come with one of each and been good to go. It's crazy.
Yeah, you could have, man.
That's the beauty of the last deck, is that little chatter spike lasted 2 days. So
That is the beauty of Elastec, man. Lasts forever. But Nathan, looks like you might have been the first one. Sign up for Whitehall. Boom. If we refresh it, Billy, we should be at 26. And Nathan should be on there, which means, Nathan, if you want to reply, would you rather have... I'm going to give him a choice. You know what I'm saying? Let's give this guy a choice. He was the first one. I'll give you a choice, dude. Do you want a jackhammer? Do you want a Yak Attack Gridlock Mighty Mount? TRD, the big TRDs. This is an underrated bait, the big giant ones. And or the goats. Pearl goats. You tell us in the comments. I'll put it in
he's
your
picking
bag.
that jackhammer.
I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. He might. Let's see. And Travis Von Newman is saying the monkeys chirping in that intro music might be foreshadowing for Ocalapalooza. There's a population of wild monkeys that live along the Ocklawaha River, and that is very factually correct. I've floated one of our favorite family floats. Manatees, gators, just fish everywhere, crystal clear water, eelgrass, monkeys in the trees. It's wild. It really is true. They were released during that Tarzan movie they filmed in the area. That's how they got in there. And then they've lived there ever since. And now they're all over Florida. So you can see monkeys anywhere in Florida now. But I don't know how many people knew that or not, but that is a true story.
So many jokes, so little time.
Yeah. All right, Nathan. Right. Nathan, I'm writing your. I'll let you guys go off the rails if you want, but Nathan, I'm writing your name on this bag.
You know, the Chatterbait Evo, to answer that question, is honestly just as good as a jackhammer. It's actually really good.
So.
I'm pretty sure that's all Drew throws now, don't you?
No, I mean I throw the Project Z a lot still. I throw the Mighty or the Mini Max. And I do throw the Evo some as well, but it kind of depends. I mean, there's things I really like about that Project Z. I still have never gotten away from it being my like number one. You know what I mean? But there's certain color patterns that they don't make in that, but they make in the Jackhammer or the Evo. You know what I mean? So that's the tricky part. I kind of have to, and they don't make a 1.25 ounce, like a 1 1/4 ounce in Project Z or Evo, but they make it in Jackhammers. So sometimes you got to use, you know, that one just because it's if you need that weight, which is not very often, but you get the idea. There's times and places for all of them. The Project Z rides a little shallower. If you put like a 5-inch diesel minnow in the back of a Project Z on a 3/8 ounce, and the skirt is the easy skirt, so it slides on. It's not a tied skirt. It actually displaces more water around that skirt. It's like a lion's mane. That thing. It's like wide. It actually makes it ride higher in the water column, and you can like wake it on the surface when you put that 5-inch diesel minnow on it. It literally is like a wake bait, but it's a chatterbait. It's pretty cool, but you can't do that with the other ones because the way that skirt's tied and the way it is, they sink a little bit more. So anyway,
yeah, I actually like those jerk shads on buzz baits too. That's actually something Ryan was doing at Susky, and I was like, I took it a step further. And I was like, I'm going to try this with the jerk shad because it makes it float a little bit. So it keeps it really high in the water column. So,
yeah, that's the beauty of Elastec. It does bring your weights up a little bit. All right. So Nathan, are you going to, I don't know if he's going to answer, or I'm just going to give him something, but I gave him a choice there of different baits. What do you guys think? I could also give him a Jabberjaw from 13. This is some of the things I'm giving away are things that are kind of like, I would call Drew's Garage. Things that are just laying around that I don't really use as much. And I'm not sponsored by 13 anymore. So I'm just going to get rid of some of the stuff that probably not going to use. It's been sitting here for over a year anyway.
He said he wants the trophy.
He wants the trophy? Is that what he wants? Oh, man. Well, I can give you some tips on how to win one of those. Hopefully, if you're watching the live stream, one of us will have something cool that can help somebody else out. He wants the big TRD. Nice. I know, dude. I'm telling you. And you can wacky rig these suckers, man. Speaking of Ocalapalooza, if you're in Florida or you're in somewhere with big largemouth, this crushes. Absolutely crushes. So, all right, man. There you go. So let's go around the horn. Best one of the takeaways from Bassmaster Kayak Series on where were we? Guntersville, Lake Guntersville. Ryan, what do you think, man? What was your takeaway? If you want to kick it off.
Man, I think I struggled more than anybody in our group. Honestly, I didn't catch any big fish like Brandon, and I didn't have the consistency of either of you two, Jake and Drew. You guys were just on them both days. But you know, that day 2 honey hole that Brandon and I went up to was pretty juicy. So that was a lot of fun. I was joking about it today. I said I went to Guntersville and ripped jerk baits to catch my biggest fish when everybody else is frogging. So that was interesting for me.
Yeah. Well, they can't all be, that's kayak fishing, man. That's fishing in general. They can't all be like winners, but
I mean, he rallied.
You did rally. You rallied and you learned some stuff. You rallied on day 2 and you learned some stuff. And
yeah,
you know, that's
the
all that
craziest
matters,
thing
right?
was I didn't catch a single frogfish. Every frogfish I hooked up with got off.
No, that's not true. You got one.
Did I?
You're back in my honey hole.
I did. Yeah.
You did.
You're
I
right.
have.
I did
took
get
a
one.
picture.
Yeah,
I had to
one.
we had to go all the way back across the lake because Ryan's like,
Yeah.
I gotta get a frogfish. I was
Like a
fine, we're going over.
45-minute motor to get one fish.
Yeah, Jake won't let
And
you.
it was the
forget that.
place I was planning on fishing, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to beat it up. He's like, I'll just get one. I'm like, all right, we'll go over there.
That literally is exactly what happened on MLF today. Ryan Salzman's like, I just need 1 or 2, and then I'll get out of here. Yeah, 1 or 2 frogfish is all I need. 1 or 2. I want to make the cut,
Yep.
make it to the last day tomorrow, and I'm out.
I show up to the
anyway.
spot, and there's just a orange AP just already there.
Yeah.
Launched way in that secret spot that wasn't really a launch.
Jones Creek or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? I mean, we'll go around the rest of the horn to get you guys, but while we're on that topic, what do you guys think about what happened there today on Major League Fishing? If you guys didn't see it, they're on
I
there,
didn't see
whatever.
it, no.
They're on. I don't know how many days in they are in this tournament, but the final day is tomorrow, and I don't know. I'm not saying anyone was right or wrong. It's like a topic of discussion. Ryan Salzman found these fish on his own, but he found them on day 2 at the end of the day, right? The second day of his day, right? And then he shows up there today, and it happens to be where Brandon Coulter and Jordan Lee have been fishing, but they were in opposite groups. So they never knew they were both fishing there, but they were both the leaders of both the groups. So the 2 top anglers in this whole tournament, they found the same juice. And Salzman shows up there later today. Dakota Ebear was there too, but I guess he'd been there in some of the previous days. Salzman all of a sudden shows up, and he's telling Coulter, look, man, no one was here. I found it like on my own. Day 2, I came here at the very end of the day. I saw these cheese mats. They're good for frogging. They look like the ones I fish on Guntersville, where, pretty basically lives on and fishes all the time. So he's like, I was just going to stop in here because I need more fish. I had no clue you guys were here or not, but either way, I found it on my own. But once you see that the 2 leaders of the tournament are there, I mean, should he still fish it, not fish it? I mean, because he did in his conscience, and he said 100% he found it on his own. He didn't just see them there, and you know what I mean, and then just start fishing it because he knew they were the leaders. So I don't know.
I don't know how far out he was, but realistically, I don't care how you found it. If you want to fish it, you want to fish it. You guys are all pros. If you can't catch fish whenever other people are around, then what are you doing there?
Yeah. I mean, Coulter and Lee, and there's something to be said about this too. There is some unwritten rule that if the leaders have been there this whole time and they've been there, there is like some sort of level of some amount of respect that you don't fish right on top of the leaders if they've been there and fished in that area for a couple of days or whatever. And it's like, now I think it's different if you found it on your own as opposed to you just see the leaders and you just pull up to them. That's not cool at all. You know what I mean? But he did claim he found it on his own. So I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Unwritten rules were meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Hey, man, nothing stopped that Hobie from coming over to me while I was measuring my 18.5-inch fish and start talking to me. I actually have the look on my face on the GoPro when he's talking to me, and it's like a freeze frame when it first starts, and I'm like looking at him like, are you serious, dude? And I was like, man, I must have just looked so pissed off, and somehow I didn't keep. This guy just kept going. He's just like, oh yeah, I was thinking about fishing over here. I didn't know if there was any over here. And I'm like, okay, well, see you later, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Creek Crawler saying he heard the mat was 500 yards long. Coulter's saying it's 150-yard section he's fishing. Him and Lee are kind of both and then Salzman is saying it's a half-mile long bunch of mats. I think it comes down to this. Coulter was just trying to protect his area. You know what I mean? It's all he was trying to do was just protect his area. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you can bully somebody, not like, he wasn't bullying in a mean way, but if you can kind of say, hey man, I'm in the lead, I kind of been here. If that person leaves because of just that subtle, insinuation, then you kind of got what you're hoping for, but without being a jerk about it or anything. But they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like they certainly don't have to leave, especially if he found it on his own. But
Yeah.
why are you not going to try to like kind of shoo somebody off if you are trying to protect your area? You know, you doesn't mean they have to do it, but why would you not at least try to say something to do it? You know what I mean? Just to protect it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with asking,
Right.
but
Yeah.
like just like what happened with us, you know, we had that guy at our ramp on day 2 that was like, hey, like we have this spot to myself, and we were like, yeah, like we don't care, we don't want that spot anyways. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking, but
Yep.
the same way it was like if I had wanted to fish it, I wouldn't have really cared what he wanted because I'm there for points, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to sacrifice my points for your check.
Yeah. I think the difference is definitely if he found it on its own, it shouldn't even really matter if the other guys were fishing it. I mean, he needs a fish to get in. They already made the next round. You know what I'm saying? And he even said, "Hey, just gonna catch 1-2 fish, and then I'm gonna like quit. Try to make that top 10." He needed 1 fish, but I think that's the biggest difference, really, in my opinion. If you see the leaders and you only know about that spot because you see them there and you know they're in the lead, and it clicks like, obviously this is where the big fish are being caught. Let me pull up here. That's definitely unethical, and you're breaking that sort of angler code of conduct, even though it's not quote unquote against any rule to just go drive around the lake looking for the people who are in the lead and just pull up next to them. It's not, but it is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
Were you
But-
trying to say something, Brandon? I saw you were muted.
I just said I had this guy in a crescent pull up to me while I was catching this fish.
Oh my
He
God.
was. Should have
That
seen
was
the look
my
on-
area, dude. You stole that.
Oh,
I
that's
actually
funny.
thought Brandon was like having issues because he was spinning in circles and he had a giant wad of moss. And I'm like, what is this? What's going on? I was like, because I wasn't going to talk to him. I was like, do you need help? And he's like, no, I have a fish. And he's just spinning in circles.
Yeah,
So I caught
that
this fish in, like,
perfectly
the most
illustrates his
random-
whole weekend.
Yes, I caught this fish in the most random place as I was like on 9 going the opposite direction of the fish, and then the motor wouldn't turn off. So all I did was put in full left pedal, and I'm just in a circle trying to land this fish. And Jake's like, you can see his face. He's like, what in the hell is this guy doing? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I actually thought you were stuck in the grass. I'm like, well, maybe he needs help.
Yeah, that was my biggest fish of that day. So.
That grass was brutal, dude. It's so bad that it bent my 300 lever, like the pull up, the bar.
Is that
Oh,
what
I got-
meant it?
Yeah, I was looking at it today. I was like, holy crap, it's bent. So
That's why we didn't fish grass that second day, is because I was like, I'm not fishing it. I don't care if I catch nothing. I'd rather catch nothing and not fish grass.
Yeah. I think
Those
grass
girls-
is going to be a player. It's topping out up in Michigan already. They're saying it's going to be a player just like it was at Guntersville. The frog is going to be a big largemouth player up there. I'm calling it now, not just because Tim DeSmith's in here and he said, you know, got to adjust those frogs. And yeah, I know he likes to throw them up there, but it's
are you
going to
saying
play.
that I should just enter, just fish Friday, catch 5 monsters on a frog and quit?
You could, man. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it could be someone might win one of these events on just Friday only. I mean, whether they fish Saturday or not, their Friday fish might be all they need. So
I'm fishing Ozarkana on a Friday only. So
Really?
yeah, I decided to do it that evening. I got
Yeah.
work on Saturday.
It's gonna be a long ride for you.
I'm a badass dude. You know that.
It's got to
We
be
drove
like
back
what,
together.
4.5 hours from Ozarkana up to your work.
Yeah, at least it's a long ass way.
Yeah.
You should just park a helicopter at the end of your float.
Yes.
there you go. Do you ever?
I would.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Do you have access?
If I-
Do you have like a personal helicopter, or just the ones that you fly for the?
No, just the army ones.
Dude, you need to get a personal one so we can all take advantage of that and just strap our kayaks to a couple of the
It's like
the
Brandon,
land the
can I get a
landing
shuttle?
landing gear, and fly us into some remote place. Now that's a kayak adventure series right there. That's what
Yeah.
we need to do.
Yeah,
And
you
actually-
know, hey, you know the owner of Z-Man, so like just have
Yeah.
him buy me one, and we'll just make
Yeah.
some content with it.
We'll do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'll bring it up. I mean, that's all I can do. Can't make any promises. Come on down to ICAS and we'll introduce you to him.
I've been wanting to make ICAS, man. Like every year I say I'm going to go and then I never do.
I'm trying to get Ryan to go.
I mean, it's not completely out yet.
We'll see what happens
You
with
guys,
his
let's go.
his
We'll
big
get a
gig.
house.
Yeah.
Look, man, if you would change your name to Dust Off and then put a Z on the end, Dust Off's Fishing, Z-Man we might be able to get you on that pro staff. We just needed to say Dust Offs with a Z on the end. That's all.
Dude,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right here.
You should just change both F's to Z's. Dust Offs.
There you go. Dust Offs. That could work.
If being on their pro staff means I get my own helicopter, I will change my name to Dust Offs with a Z. Guarantee it.
All right, guys. Again, if you're just tuning in or if you're on Instagram, we're having a hard time following along with comments, but I see some here. We are giving away extra cool stuff here. I got lots of Z-Man stuff. I got a jackhammer left. I've got, what else do I have? I got a walking bait. This is Drew's garage stuff here that I just have left over. You get some Yak Attack stuff. Hey, I got a, the padlock, what do they call it? The padlock paddle holder, the ones that we use for the rods and paddles on the shoalie. I got one of those. They're really cool add-on. Like I said, jackhammers. Enter
That's
Ozark
the juice
Canna.
right there, man.
It is a
That
juice.
color.
Diesel minnows. I got diesel minnow. I got, like I said, goat. Enter the Ozark Canna or Wild Whitehall while we're on this live stream, and we'll throw this in what is already $100 prize bag. We'll throw one of these things in there for you extra. So we'll see how many signups we can get while we're on the stream today. I think having 26 already for Michigan's good. I think we're going to end up, I'm hoping we're going to get close to 100. I think we're going to make it there. I think Tim and the folks up there we've been talking to, Steve, think we should hit that number, no doubt about it. So should be a good time, a good payout, and a lot of fun. All right, where you guys want to go next? Jake, you want to tell us about your tournament
Sure.
at Guntersville? Because you were the most consistent in terms of your numbers each day. Tell them what you got and what place you ended up in.
I think it was 86 and an 85. So I had 170 inches, something like that. I think it was 170, but I was frogging like Friday and I kept catching them on a frog and I was like, hey, I just caught one. And they're like, really? We haven't caught anything on a frog. And I was like, well, have you tried it like this? And they're like, yeah, we've been throwing the frog nonstop. And I was like, okay, well, I go around the dock and catch another on a frog. And I'm like, I say to the GoPro, okay, I'm fishing in this spot Saturday. Like, so I was supplantably doing docks, frog, and grass. So like deeper docks with like grass around them where the grass wasn't like, there's like a grass that I was looking for, and it was like you didn't want that grass that was like eel grass that was laying on top of the water that had matted up. You didn't want that. You wanted the stuff that was like kind of alive still, you know? So I was fishing around docks and just kind of like really in the thick of it. I was paddling. Like I had my motor up for the most part. Like I was paddling, getting right to the spot, making the perfect cast. And I think I had a limit day one by, I want to say 550. So it was early. Like I literally had like 4 of my biggest fish. Like I had a limit, but 4 of the biggest fish I caught were before 6 a.m. So it was like all flurry, and then the frog bite was just gone once that sun came up. So, I mean, that's what worried me though about day 2, because day 2 they told us that it was going to be sunny, right? And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, this frog bite's not going to work on day 2. So I ended up actually like going to the chatterbait, and I caught every single one of my fish on chatterbait on day 2. So doing the same thing though, just in a different way. I knew that they weren't coming up for the frog, so I was fishing in front of the docks around the grass, ripping the chatterbait through it. And I probably caught 30 fish on day 2. It was a fun day. I had fun. I was sick, super sick. I know Ryan knows that. And Brandon. I don't think I told Drew, but I was dying. I actually left the water like 40 minutes early on day 2. So
I did not know that. That's not fun, man. Good friend of mine up here, Eric, he was sick for the local Ohio club, and he posted his video of it. And he's just out there. I'm just trying to imagine him trying to edit this video. Like, which one of my sneezes and coughs and you just all the stuff that he was doing. Like, which one am I going to like put in the edit? There was a lot of them, and he was just miserable out there. He actually left. It looked like really early, but anyway, that's been going around. Day 2 was big time different, man, than day 1 in that tournament. Completely different for me too. It all
and then
changed.
Ryan's like, oh, I'm catching him on jerk baits. I'm like, what? Like, what is this lake? Granted, he was up in a river, but
yeah, you can do a lot at Guntersville depending on where you're at. A lot of different stuff for sure. Brandon, what about you, man? You had a interesting event. You catching lots of good fish in practice.
You need to rename him to Drum Fishing.
Drum King.
Drum King.
Ryan found the pattern on the second day with the chatterbait. First day, I caught 4 fish on a ribbit frog, and I've never caught fish on a ribbit frog in my life. So, cool. If that tells you guys anything. And then I was just like, F it. Basically around noon on the second day, I was like, okay, I'm either going to try to get a PB here or I'm just going to go out swinging. So I threw on a clutch eco glide bait, and then I just hucked that thing for 3 hours. And I ended up catching 3 fish on it. And I was like this close to a couple other ones. They nipped at it, but they missed. So, and actually Ryan continued up the river. And I was like, I want to go home now. So I left, and then he went up and slayed them all on the jerkbait while I pulled one more 13 out of my butt on the way back on a chatterbait. So it was definitely a learning experience. I had a lot of electrical issues that I had to work through. I had never fished grass before. I think I caught maybe 1 frogfish in my life. So I can't be disappointed that I got 128th when essentially I just spent the whole week getting firsts. So
yeah, that's
he
true.
caught the biggest fish out of anyone I know in our house, I think, too, with that giant, like, what was it, 20.75 or something?
I got a 505 20.5 inch largemouth on a and if you guys haven't seen this golden shiner spinnerbait that Steve Martins makes, it's pretty fancy. I like it.
I feel like there's a better story behind that catch though, because he didn't just catch it, right? He launched his kayak for the first time, and we're literally at the boat ramp, and he makes maybe his 3rd cast, and he catches a freaking giant.
Oh, it wasn't it. So what ended up happening was I ended up casting and backlashing and not having the line through the guide, and I was dragging that spinnerbait through the grass as I was like trying to get it back. And then I was like, I think I literally said, holy shit, I think I have a fish. And then I look and it's like this big. And I was like, guys, I got a huge fish. And Ryan's like, yeah, whatever, dude. He probably got a 12-incher back there, and I just reached down in the grass and I pull this thing up and I'm like, hey, I got this fish. And
it's like second day practice or what? What day was
no,
it?
It was like 5 minutes into the first day of practice.
Oh, first day. Oh, wow.
And Jake said it. He goes, that's going to be your best fish all week, I think is what he said. And
well, I wasn't trying to like jinx him.
Yeah,
I was like, watch that be like the best fish you catch or like the only one you catch all week.
What ended up happening was I caught a 20.5 on the first day, an 18.75 on the second day, a 17.5 on the third day, and then a 16.75 on the fourth day. So I got worse.
Well, you did catch a giant drum that was actually bigger than the bass. So technically, fish-wise, you did.
You got a double digit.
Oh, that's true. And that drum actually weighed a little bit more after I lost it back in the water because it had Ryan's scale in its mouth. Yeah,
that sucks.
So
That
let's
sucks.
pour one out. Pour one out for the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So I had to buy Ryan a new scale, which should have got there today, Ryan.
Yeah, it got in today. I was actually going to mention that. Yeah,
there it is.
Dude, that is a big one. That's an old ugly right there.
Yeah, I got that hit. I got a thump on that chatterbait, and I told Ryan, I was like, I got a big one, man. And he's like, oh, you do? And I saw it like flash, and it looked like a giant white dinner plate in the water, and I was like, "Oh man, that ain't a bass." And then it just took me for like a 5-minute ride, so it was
I
fun.
feel like- I was gonna say, I feel
Go
like Guntersville was like the bycatch lake because it was just like we were catching catfish and freaking drum and
Yeah, I scoped
Yeah.
a drum on the river that second day. So
I didn't catch anything but bass, except I did have one bowfin that was waking. I wasn't sure if it was it was during the tournament, so I wasn't sure if it was a bass or a bowfin at the time. And then all of a sudden, it waked on it real close, and I just started dangling my jerk shad right by the boat, and just like, come on, man, hit it, whatever it is. Hopefully, it's a bass. And it hit it, and I pulled it up for a second, and it was a bowfin, just like I thought it might have been, the way it was kind of waking. And I'm glad it didn't actually get really hooked.
dang,
So,
Ryan would have loved one of those.
me too. I've never caught one.
Yeah, I love
Really?
catching some bowfin. That's the fun part about South Carolina.
yeah, oh yeah, loaded those swamps, and they're so dumb. They're they're kind of fun to catch, for when you've never really caught a bunch of them. Then they do get kind of old after a while, but they just do this death spiral, and it's pretty, pretty
Apparently, they are one of the oldest freshwater species. They're over 100 million years old.
bad. I can believe that.
So
Definitely believe that. So
I thought they could live on land for like a day or something like that.
something
can't
like
they?
that. They can
Yeah.
I know they can like
Raft.
cross lakes and stuff too. Like they can portage basically.
basically, by the way, Travis Von Neumann, you signed up for Ozarkana, it looked like. So nice job, man. And if you want, tell me what you want. If I've held up some of the stuff, the jabberjaw, you got the walking bait, jackhammer left. There's goats. Some pro crawls, too, bud. So we're giving away stuff for anyone who registers for Ozarkana and Wild Whitehall during the live stream tonight. And so let me know if you have a preference. If not, I will just write your name on one of these bags and put whatever in it. And you guys said, Jake, you said you knew someone that was signed up for Ozarkana. So hit them up, let them know, get on live. All you guys out there that fish Moyak, you're fishing the Ozarkana anyway. You might as well sign up now. Registrations for the Kayak Adventure Series can be moved to different events. Brandon signed up for Shoalipalooza, and it got moved to Ozarkana because he couldn't make Shoalipalooza at the last minute. But if he could have, he would have been in the top 100 to get that gift bag. So
I would
Why
have
not
placed
sign
in my first kayak tournament ever. I'm just kidding, but
yeah. First 100 anglers get the gift bags, guys.
That would have been good at Guntersville, top 100.
It would have been. Going forward, though, for Ozarkana, for all the rest of the events, it's the top 50. We're giving $100 gift bags because we had 80 people in the individual division for Shoalipalooza. So the incentive to get people to sign up earlier, which kind of helps our, the tourism department and the people in the city know kind of how to prepare and plan for how many people we have. It didn't really work. So we need to make it the first 50. So if you're in Michigan right now, there's just 20 something people left that are going to get $100 gift bags. So you better start getting on the signing up quick, because these bags it's going to go quicker and quicker the closer we get to 50. So Travis, I'm putting your name on this bag and you will get dealer's choice, he said.
yeah, he said just surprise him. So what's he gonna get?
I don't know. Well, we're gonna make it a surprise, like an actual surprise at the event, or does he want to know now? I don't know if he wants to know now or not, but for Travis, I kind of know Travis's style, so I'll kind of pick something here.
Do you got any beaver chapos for him?
Yeah, that's what he needs after winning this.
That's his style.
That I am still bummed that they discontinued that beaver chapo. There was a Dick's Academy or Academy special.
I know. I bought a couple when they were there, and this was before he had fished that event, and I was like, oh, these are kind of silly. But I have always believed that, like, when I was a kid, I saw a bass try to eat a chipmunk, right? And so I've always thought, like, oh yeah, these bass clearly eat mammals. So I was like, this will work. And so I bought a couple, and it turns out that if you bought a lot, they sell for a lot because people like them, because I guess they balance in the water better or something. So
I don't know. I just never really got a chance to try them out, but Travis obviously did, and took one of the weirdest wins in all the national events ever. A beaver on the main lake of Lake Champlain, a Chapo beaver to win Lake Champlain. You know, because
Wasn't he in a Jackson too, like a not lake kayak?
oh,
Like
it's like a Kilroy. I think that was a sit
Yeah.
inside. You know
Like the-
what? Yeah. So a lot of things were wonky. What's crazy is you'll hear so many theories and people say match the hatch, and you know, and that's true. I'm not saying it's not true, but it's so funny how a lot of times you're saying I want something that stands out that's total opposite. So you put on your A rig, you put the one that's not the teaser, you put like a bright chartreuse one that's got the hooks on it, so it stands out, so they eat it. Well, you're kind of contradicting yourself with what you normally say with match the hatch when you're trying to say I need to get something that stands out so they eat it. It's like, it's just funny. I mean, a beaver, there's nothing that's more, you know, not the norm than a beaver in the middle of a muskrat, whatever you want to call that bait, a baby muskrat beaver in the middle of Lake Champlain. That's just not, they just don't
I
ever
don't know.
swim
I've seen him out there, man.
on the main lake in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe
And they're this big too. I'm kidding, by the way. I've never
I was
seen
about to say, I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I've never seen, yeah, they're always in these backwaters and stuff, the shallow stuff. So anyway,
I mean,
that
have
was,
you ever seen a pearl white frog
yeah,
swimming out in the middle of Lake Guntersville? Because that's what Brandon was basically doing when he caught that 17 and a half. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm the guy you need to ask about which baits to pick. I'm that one. I usually just throw it like a booger at a wall and see if it sticks. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all know what happens, and I've said this before. If you put a goldfish in the middle of any of these lakes, what's going to happen in the first, 5 seconds it hits the water? As long as there's, bass around, they're going to smash it. So, what does that prove about the theory of you got to match the hatch?
it's because they've been eating the same. They've been eating burgers all week, and you're like, here's a filet mignon, or here's a chicken sandwich. So like, yeah, I want that. It's different.
Yeah,
So,
I just think it has to do. It just tells us it's more about the action than the color. Usually, like
yeah, I'm
not
not a
like that
huge
color doesn't.
believer in color. I'm more of a believer in like contrast more than
Yeah.
the actual color.
That's exactly what I was. Gonna
Which
say.
is interesting is like if anybody's been following me, they know what I was throwing at Guntersville. I know Brandon knows, but I was throwing a red and orange frog, like a red, like cicada colored frog, which is weird, like completely different, completely off the wall. And I would say it was out fishing the other frogs. It's like 10-1. So I don't know why, but maybe it was a cicada. Maybe they thought
Maybe.
it was a cicada.
this is the frog. I don't know if you could see that or not. It's bright.
Yeah,
You can't see it.
kind of.
It's like chartreuse and brown.
Yeah.
It's like a matte. It's like a matte, like the tactical bassing guy. What is matte?
The
The
Something.
bully wall.
Yeah, it was a small frog like his. It just wasn't the red color. And I was catching fish, but it wasn't nearly
Yeah.
as many as he was. He was catching a ton of them. I'll see if I can
Yeah,
pull up a picture.
I actually
of this
really
stuff.
liked Guntersville in retrospect. Like I had a rough day too because I wasn't feeling great, but like the lake itself was a lot of fun. Like I think it's one of those lakes that what I liked about Guntersville is I ended up fishing the river, right? And I felt way more comfortable on the main river than I did on any of the other stuff. So, and I
Mhm.
know a lot of people around me were cashing checks. So clearly like that area was really good. So
Yeah, I had an interesting event. I went to a little backwater, kind of. It was affected by the flow of the main river, the main lake, whatever, main river up north, and so it would like flood in when they turn the water on, and then it kind of comes like a tide. It kind of goes out when they cut it, generators off. And day one, it was a little bit drizzly and rainy, and we had cloud cover all day, and they were just hitting that top water really good. And I caught 95. I didn't know fish like that were really there, but I caught 95 and a half and was in 7th place. But then next day, there was bluebird skies, more like a little bit of clouds, but mostly bluebird, and they just pulled the water. The water never came up, and it was like 1.5 feet deep. And I noticed that fish were on beds, and I caught a couple off beds. And then it was just so much. It's clear and calmer, and then shallower, which means you get the fish are even spookier. So the fish that were still there were several big females still there, and you'd see them swimming, all of a sudden swimming right past you and swimming by. You're like, dang it, where were you? Like when I was casting up there, and I just couldn't get any of the big ones to really bite that day.
we saw fish on beds too.
Did you?
Yeah, because Brandon's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that fish is on a bed." And I was like, it's probably a bluegill bed, right? And then we get down a little bit further, and I was like, "Oh man, they actually are on beds," because we
Yeah.
saw a bunch like actually like bedded down. So
I think I caught a bed
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah. Everyone always overplays I mean, there's no doubt that the fish spawn and, there in late March and April, all throughout April pretty much. But most people think it's done by like late April. They think it's all done. That's just not true. Now, a lot of your biggest ones may have spawned, but I'm telling you right now, a lot of the ones I saw that were fry guarding or that were spawning or courting like the male, whatever, they were big. I mean, I was catching big females in there. They were there for a reason in that kind of backwater area. So it was a fun event. I mean, I finished like 24th out of 211 or whatever we had. So it was top 11%. I was out of the money I just missed it by that 1%. And you can take, look at it two different ways. I mean, one, it's a bummer I had a chance to win, obviously having 95.5. And then, but two, if I didn't have 95.5 and I had my same 81 3/4 on day 2, I would have never been 24th place. You know what I mean? So I kind of have to just take the positive, and I'd rather have had it happen that way than the other way, even though it's a little bit more disheartening, because I'd like to be in the hunt, you know what I mean, after day 1, rather than trying to play catch up and backdoor a top 10% finish, knowing I'm never going to win, have a chance to win. So at least it was exciting. And I learned something. I only had 1 day of practice. So it's, I felt like I ended up doing pretty good, all things considered. So good times with you guys. That's what it's all about. Sort of a kayak adventure series sort of mentality. Like none of us catch a check, but my goodness, did we have a good time? And that's kind of what we're promoting.
And everybody did a little bit something different too, which kind of goes to show. Like I didn't even use a graph day 1. I didn't even have my graph day 2 because it was in Mr. Dustoff's truck. So.
Oh, that's. I mean, did you need it? It sounds like you weren't really.
So I was using my graphs just to go to my waypoints mostly.
Oh, gotcha.
And like look, so I was using it to find like the contours mostly, just like knowing where like the land kind of just dropped off, because there was a certain cove that was quote Frog Cove, which was completely different in my area. It was like the B spot. That I found out that there was a ton of fish at the front of it, like staging. And I don't know why. It's like they were real fat still, like they were pre-spawn. I'm like, well, this can't be right. But they were behaving like pre-spawn bass. And if you threw your chatterbait into out towards the deep, let it sink, and then pull it through the grass, coming back into the coves, they were eating it like they were set up to, to spawn. So it was really weird because this was like in a creek area too. So like they had access to that shallow water, which made me think that it's possible that like because that river water was cooler, a good portion of these fish had not spawned yet. Like I'm convinced that that's what it was, because it just didn't make sense otherwise. But then again, fish never make sense, so it's like
no, they do not make sense. Hey Billy, when you get a chance, man, do you want to pull up? I don't know if we really announced this yet, but we did post a recap. We might add a few more photo galleries, but we have a recap. We're gonna get these up like a lot quicker in the future now that we got our system down. Hank Vegian, for you guys know Hank, probably a good writer. He helped us write a recap and for Shoalipalooza. So there's your official. If you click on that right there, you can click on it, Billy, and it'll all come up. Yeah, tournament recaps is right there, and just click on the right there, and you'll see the whole recap. We just posted it like yesterday, and you can scroll down and give us a view. But basically, that recaps the whole event. Talks about everything that kind of went down. Got some good photos on the water. Got some good photos at the awards presentation in the theater, and it was pretty cool recap there. So now we'll follow that template and be able to shows off one of the Upco bikes for the Angler of the Year is going to win. I got some more photos I'm going to throw in there, but it's pretty cool. Steve Kennedy, a picture of Steve Kennedy and I there. That's cool that he showed up. Got some of you guys listed that were, some guests of honor and some YouTubers in attendance, content creators. And it goes over some of the seminars that we did. I mean, it just kind of covers the whole event. It's a lot, but we don't really want to ever forget what all went into that event. So, and we'll put a gallery at the very bottom of all the, like literally every photo we have, like hundreds of photos. So you guys can go back through and check them out. And if there's one of you would like, you can obviously pull it and use it and show your friends, family, share the article with them. So that's pretty cool. And actually, another little thing, tell you what, here's what I'll do. People are just now listening. Guys, if you register for Ozarkana or Wild Whitehall right now live on the stream, Billy's keeping track. We're going to give you guys something extra in your $100 gift bag, right? So this just came in today, guys. The new ones. These are different because they're the color patch on the front, right? And colored embroidery. So these new KAS hats. These
Oh,
are
I
pretty
gotta
cool.
get one of those yellow ones, man.
Yeah. There you go. And then it's got your name on it. The black, I like the black. That's cool. And then the green one, sweet. So whoever, these are nice.
These rope hats are awesome, by the way. I don't even like rope hats, and that's all I wear now.
Yeah.
I thought it looked really good on Brandon. It's like
it does.
For it.
I mean, you've got the one that's the leather patch. I like the leather patch hats too. It's kind of hard to see the graphic right now on the logo on this, with the lighting the way it is, but they look really, really sharp. But these here, I'm excited about. And whoever signs up next person to sign up for Ozarkana or Wild Whitehall, I'm throwing the hat of your choice, color of your choice, any of the hats I just showed you guys, in your bag. So, or I could do one of those leather patch ones. I don't care. I'll do either
whatever
one.
you want.
Yeah, whatever you guys want. So next person to sign up, Ozarkana. It's like a pledge drive, and we're just giving stuff away.
I love the hat, man. For real. I got like 100 hats. I don't know how many hats you get sent, Drew, but I got like a bazillion hats. And this hat is like #1 draft pick right now.
Right now.
The
Nice.
#1 contender.
#1 contender.
Yeah, we'll see how it looks when it gets like a couple months down the road, all worn out. I might have to reach out to my point of contact to get another rope hat. So
yeah. We can make it happen for sure.
Drew likes that big Z-Man hat.
Yeah, you look good. You look good in that chatterbait hat, man.
I mean, that no hats really fit me that great. Let's face it. I got a teeny little head. They all fit over my ears, and it looks weird if I try to make them go above my ears and then push the hat down, because then it just makes my ears pop out. So
that's why you got to get those giant ski glasses like you had at
yeah, exactly. Ski goggles.
Yeah, those are money.
What else do you guys want to cover about the trip? What about Dust Off Fishing's Instagram post that got all that traction? How much it costs to fish a national kayak tournament? It was a great post because people need to see, like, yeah, this is kind of about. I mean, and you did. I think we did on a little bit on even on the cheap too, with the Airbnb being a double wide.
So these guys were skeptical when they got there, and I think they think that by the end they're like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, that post is 32,000 plays right now. So just me personally, like, Dust Off Fishing is like a business, right? And so I have to like essentially everything that I did on that trip needs to be tracked for tax purposes. So I just used one credit card the whole trip, and then I went back through, and like there were a couple little extra expenses. Like we decided we were going to fish Tennessee that one day.
Was that, by the way?
So you had to buy a license for.
Nothing was my idea. Let's just put it that way.
Whoever wanted us to go up there is just crazy.
That's where I caught a 7-pound drum. That was about it. But that was 33 extra bucks that we spent, and then like you said. The Airbnb was cheap, but I spent quite a bit of money on tackle. So
Yeah, you always do on the trips. Billy, I don't know if you pull up Instagram on a tab, you might even be able to play that. It's pretty good reel. But anyway, you guys out there, if you guys watched or probably saw that reel, it's definitely interesting because it just goes to show, and this is exactly what we're talking about with the Kayak Adventure Series and why we attract a certain type of person. You can never look at this. It's very rare that anyone actually makes money. Eric Siddiqui, shout out to Siddiqui, won the Bassmaster Kayak Series on Guntersville. He profited money. And then the second and third place person probably did, or fourth. Man, once you get past that, you're kind of breaking even, you know what I mean? Or losing money. So what's important to remember when you fish these events, guys, it's about the experience and the adventure and the memories. That's what you're really paying for. The fun that I had with you guys at the Airbnb and the stories you guys are telling when you guys teamed up and pre-fished together every day and had fun like that. That's why you're doing it for that. And that's what that expense is really for. Not just this sort of dollars and cents, like how much money did I make or not make, and I'm going to be happy if I made money and not happy if I didn't make money, because 98% of the people at the tournament are not going to actually make a profit. You know what I mean? It's just the reality of our sport. So you just got to look at it with a different mindset.
Well, let me add to that. So like one of the regrets I had is like I didn't get an opportunity to interact with a lot of the people that I interact with on the internet. Right. So, one of the things that KAS really, I think, does better than anything. I know we had a little bit of a social that Friday night there at at Guntersville,
Thursday.
but Thursday night.
Yeah.
But like after that, it's all business. Like you see people at the ramp and they're like, "Don't talk to me. I'm fucking fishing." Like it's just crazy. And like, honestly, when you have 66,000 followers, sometimes you don't get a chance to like people will follow me, but I don't see it, and then like people will comment like, "Hey man, I really wanted to catch a beer with you while you were there. It sucks that we missed you." Or, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I should follow that guy back because, that's what this is all about." Right. So, I like that the Kayak Adventure Series gives an opportunity for socializing that isn't surrounding some sort of like registration or some sort of like, I don't know, getting your thing checked or whatever. So, and not everybody's down there on that Thursday night, some people come in Friday or whatever. So I think it's a good format for that. And like I said, I'm looking forward to trying to do that again.
Yeah, for sure. Billy, we'll show that reel in a second if you can. And then we also got a couple comments we want to address. They're pretty good. Let's see which one it is. The third one with 31.
31K one.
31.8.
The
Yeah.
second one there.
Yeah, that one right there.
I don't know if the audio comes through. If you unmute it.
Yeah, I wanted to add myself because I'm not sure if the audio comes through.
It's muted.
But it's muted.
Bottom right of the video.
Oh, there. See, that's why.
So $1,000.
Basically $1,000. Lifetime of memories.
Where's
Priceless.
that drum?
Yeah, that drum was that's Jake right there.
Yeah.
That's a good video of him, by the way. I like that one.
was
that cool, that little peel out there.
There's the first drum.
Yep.
That was a nice fish that I caught in practice.
So Brandon actually spent more money than that. He won't admit it, but he also bought a rain suit, and it wasn't factored in. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I took out the $190 for the jacket just because that's not like a normal expense.
Yeah. And it's not like it was just for that event. Like you're going to use it forever. So it needs to almost be prorated. And it's not like every bit of your tackle was all of a sudden used and you lost it at that event either. That's all going to be used.
He's also looking like a genius for buying that rain suit because we got dumped on.
Yeah.
I am also looking like a genius for buying that ribbit frog because it caught me fish.
So,
yeah.
Dude, that's the Ryan special. He loves those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love them too because it's just like basically it's like fishing a whopper plopper that
exactly
grass.
I use the goat toes with that double hook rig that I rig it up with a double hook, and it's kind of does the same thing. The ribbit frog definitely has a little bit more of a bigger, louder like plopper.
It actually
noise.
You can hear it. It's like bloop, bloop,
yeah, it is. It is. But Parker Fishing makes a good one here. Ryan Parker, he says, didn't Eric have to buy a new truck after Guntersville? He might have lost the most money. That's actually factually correct. I won't share his business, but I talked to him on the phone. We talked for a little bit, and I congratulated him and told him just how excited I was for him, that he really deserved another big win like that, given, how he's always near the top and crushing it. And anyway, there's a long-standing joke between Siddiqui and I. He's lost a couple of tiebreakers that were pretty important to me. So he always hates seeing me up there. So it was kind of, he was kind of glad to see me peel back the way I did. Didn't want to end up in another one, but anyway, he spent, a Toyota Tundra is not cheap, guys, brand new. He got a nice one. So Parker, Ryan Parker's right. He probably lost the most money, but technically just from what Brandon did there, spending the money, the entry fee, the amount he spent on his lodging, which he probably gets his lodging covered from Dakota Lithium. But either way, he definitely made the most if you don't count the brand new Toyota truck. So,
honestly, that's an interesting format. Like, I would like to see more people do that because I think it gives a more honest breakdown. Because the Bass guy Pro did that on one of his videos on the whiteboard that showed like how much it was to be an Elite Series angler, and it was kind of eye opening. So
Yeah, yep. And Jason Ryan.
No,
saying
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I definitely think like you could definitely do it cheaper for sure. Like I don't think Brandon was like spending money crazy either though. So it's like it kind of is.
Yeah.
It can be as expensive or as cheap as you want, or if you
It's
want to go
true.
buy. Like some people don't ever want to eat out. Some people, camp in their truck.
Primitive camping, right? I mean, we
like
didn't.
Pete sleeps in his truck.
Yep.
You don't ever see him unless he goes out to dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can definitely do it cheaper. You can camp. You can do it way cheaper than even we did. But that was
$150 for a bed though, or a place to be and a shower
for 5 nights or whatever, 6 nights, whatever it was. What's up to James Fott, by the way? He'll be at Midwest Kayak Company. He's going to be there at Ozarkana. So he's on the road to Florida. So what's up, man? And look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, I just talked to him for an hour earlier today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
good
nice.
dude.
Let's see. Southwest Indiana Outdoors, talking about looking forward to meeting people at Ozarkana. By the way, I don't know if anyone's signed up yet. You guys check your Instagrams because you guys have people watching on Instagram. You guys, whoever signs up next gets one of the KAS hats. These are like $25 hats, the rope hats here. So next one to sign up for either Ozarkana or Wild Whitehall.
Someone asked on my Instagram if Brandon only does kayak tournaments. And I'm pretty sure Brandon has fished boat tournaments. Not the answer for him.
Yeah, I fished about 5 or 6 of them. We won a Friday nighter team. I got a second place in one in Alabama, actually, on Lake. So yeah, I've done a few. I'm not kind of like a fishing whore. If I can find a way to like learn more about fishing in any particular way, I will do it. So
yeah. Who's SB Fishing?
He
Jason
fishes out of
Ryan
like the John boats. He's a YouTuber.
Oh, okay. YouTuber. Okay. He's been documenting his tournaments this year, breaking down the ROI. I mean, if you actually have listened to any Bass Talk Live or any of the shows that have actually dug into this in terms of like that professional level, it really is. I mean, Matt Pengreich said it on BTL. I think he said it like this many times, but he said it recently and it caught a little more traction. You could actually, the odds of actually making money, right? You could probably take the same amount of money, put it all on a roulette table on red, and you have better odds of making money doing it like that. And then you would save yourself all the travel expenses and everything else. Just put all the entry fee, all that money one time, and that's your odds are better. But that's taking away the experience and all that. If you're just looking at it from dollars and cents, and obviously that's our point. That's what Dustoff's fishing point is here with his post. It's like, this is about the experience. That's what Kayak Adventure Series is all about. It's about these memories, these experiences, letting us help guide you to some of the coolest places around the country to fish that no one's ever even really focused on before. Because these are the things that our lives are going to be, made of right here. And we'll always remember it on our deathbed, not all the, everything else. So that's why we do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest though, man, I got home, I was wiped.
Oh yeah.
You guys had a rough drive.
We got home at 1 a.m. So I was telling people, like, I got up at 3:30 to fish Sunday, and we left after we got done fishing, and we got home at 1. I got home at 1 a.m. Ryan probably got home at 1:30. So that's like 21 hours of being awake straight. So
yeah,
it's
a lot. That was rough.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that like I hate about tournaments, specifically these kind, is the 3 a.m. wake up type tournaments. So
yeah.
Did someone else sign up?
That was tough.
Looks like it. Looks
It
like
doesn't-
one.
Yeah, someone else signed up, but I'm dumb.
Well, Travis
I can't
Von
figure out
Newman
who it is.
Travis Von Newman signed up, so maybe he signed up for that one and Ozarkana. You know what I'm saying? Or was he already
you know
on
what?
this?
I think Travis was already in this
he was already there.
I
So I,
think
had
it was-
25. Yeah, someone's new.
We did have
No.
25. Who else signed up? Maybe our Instagram just cut off because it said we can only go an hour. So if it was
No, that
somebody
was
on
only on
Instagram-
Brandon's because it was inactive. It's fine.
Oh, really? Still going on mine? Okay. So let's see. I guess someone let us know if you signed up and this hat is yours. One of these
put it in the
hats.
chat.
But an Ozarkana, I don't even know. We do need to get more people signed up for that one. I mean, it's a ways out. Let's face it. People don't like to sign up early, but like we said, you can always move your entry to another event or get a refund like 2 days prior, as long as you do it. And even if you do it after the 2 days, you can still get a refund. It's just not going to be full. Because actually, no, you can't. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't want to talk for Amanda at Real Tournament Management, but basically until 2 days prior, you can get a refund. You might lose a Tourney X fee or something, a few bucks, but it's almost a full refund. Let's see. What else do we need to cover? Or is this about it? I mean, I don't know what else you guys want to cover or talk about. We've kind of wrapped up our event down on Guntersville. They did a great job. The Bassmaster Kayak Series did.
It was a fun event. I was skeptical. I've had some like pretty down couple weeks, and like I was like not really excited for Guntersville, but I honestly had a lot of fun personally. Like it was fun, it was fun to fish with Brandon down there. He was new to the whole thing, so he was kind of like, I don't know, he had that like excitement type attitude where like we knew like, oh man, waking up at 3:30, no.
Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, it was rough.
I learned the one thing I did learn, I probably should have known this already, but it's almost like sometimes it doesn't matter what you're throwing. You just got to be around the fish.
Yeah.
And like that whole scenario on the second day where Ryan found like that pile of fish we had struggled all day long. I mean, and then he just is like whacking on them. And so, I mean, credit to him because he found that jerkbait bite, but it just kind of taught me a lot about just like Jake was doing. He was just around the fish a lot. He just kind of had an idea where they were. And we picked that place that we fished that first day, like separately. You know how that guy said he was like, I found this place. Well, like we were doing map recon. I was like, I want to go here. And then he's like, you can't want to go there. I want to go there. And we're like, oh yeah.
Because I was jokingly calling it Coomer Landing, even though it's Comer.
Yeah.
Because I had marked that one I had that one like scoped out because I really wanted to figure out the river, and I wanted like a main river thing because I didn't end up doing anything I wanted to do. I actually wanted to sit in those channels and throw chatterbaits all day through the grass, like where the current pushes through on the channel swings. I didn't even end up doing that, and I'm glad I didn't because all those spots all day were just packed with like other kayakers and boaters, like nonstop, just community.
I can't remember the last tournament you fished, Jake, where you said, and you've come on here and said you did something you wanted to do. It's been like this streak of so many in a row. You're like, I was doing something I didn't even want to be doing it.
I don't know where it was it after the fact, but I think it was after Saturday. Awesome. I was like, dude, I just want to get away from the docks. Yeah. I just like that was 3 tournaments in a row of docks, and honestly, it goes back as far as Possum Kingdom the first time, like it was just docks, and then 10 Killer it was docks, and then Possum Kingdom again it was docks, and then this was docks.
It was Jason saying about that jerkbait bite on Guntersville. How could you not wake up at 3 a.m. for that? You wouldn't be able to sleep. Well, keep in mind too, I mean, we definitely, how it is when you wake up, it's just that first little bit you're just not enjoying it, but of course you're excited. But he didn't know that jerkbait bite came in the very end of the very last day of the tournament. It's not like he woke up knowing I'm going to go throw jerkbaits and smash 30 or 40 fish today. It wasn't like that, but he did find it, and that was pretty cool.
If I knew there was a jerkbait bite on Guntersville, I would 100% been there, and I would have been there with a different motor even, and I would have just been crushing because I love fishing jerkbait.
That is another good point. I love that autopilot, but it's slow AF. And Jake was just like running circles. Like,
to be fair, I doubt there were many people that were as fast as me in that tournament, period. So
he's like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, I'm over in this cove, like a mile from me. So, and then like, I'd be like, are you coming? Oh, and I'd look up and he'd be right next to me. It's like, what in the...
Dude, I had somebody in an autopilot who I passed on day 2. He shouted over to me. He's like, dude, the amount of wake you're putting off is insane. And I was like, yeah, I'm going 7 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, that's got to be me.
dude, that
It's gotta be
Crescent
me.
It
CK2
throws away.
Venture, it is a fast kayak.
It is.
Super
And I'm getting, I mean, I was just a little bit slower than you because, I'm getting 6.7 out of my Shoaly now that I did all the adjustments.
That's
for it.
about
So,
what I get is 6.7.
Yeah.
I was going downriver when I was doing 7. So
Oh, yeah.
cheating.
Well, I will. There's one thing that you did say earlier, Brandon, that's a good thing for people to learn if they're still listening. When you fish, the good news about fishing national tournaments, because you're thinking, why would I spend more money and drive nationally and, when I could fish local, right? Or just some stuff that's nearby, right? The difference is you get to learn new fisheries and new things like fishing that thick grass like you got to fish. You got to like go do that to learn it. Now, next time you get on a lake that's got similar conditions, you at least have some understanding of how to approach it. And that's what takes time to be successful. And obviously winning some AOI titles. That's one of the keys that I felt. I've always had a little bit of advantage over the whole field from an AOI perspective because I traveled so much with, working this industry and fishing so many different lakes and for every species and, grass, vegetation, clear, smallmouth, shoal bass, largemouth, Alabama, like everything, like nothing. When I first got into tournament fishing hardcore, like I'd already had the whole tour of the country and caught everything, East Coast, West Coast, like you name it, deep, shallow, whatever. So I knew. And then obviously it helped me have good, consistent finishes because that's what AOI needs is these consistent like finishes. And so you got to start doing that at some point, and there's not a better way to get into it at a lower cost of entry than the Kayak Adventure Series, and so I think that's where some people are going to take advantage of that, get some experience on these fisheries and places they don't normally go to or species they don't normally catch, and hopefully it'll help them become better anglers overall when they want to dip in a little deeper.
I think fishing against good people teaches you very tough lessons and you want to feel bad about it. But the reality is like, even some of the best people have bad tournaments. Like look at some of the people that were behind me, super accomplished anglers that are, I would never even, hold a candle to if you were looking at like a resume thing. But it's like, I think fishing against the best makes you better because, you look at how stacked it was in that Guntersville tournament from basically where Drew finished down to where I finished. And like, we weren't that far apart, but we were almost 20 places apart because everybody was figuring them out. They were on fish. I mean, it's just like a log jam. It's like 179 to like 168.
I'm in a 5-way tie or 6-way.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like look at Christine. Christine had a really good day too. Didn't have, had an average day one and like 31st. It's like, you learn a lot in these tournaments because I mean, look at some of those names on there. I mean, it's just, so.
Former winners.
I fished Lake of the Pines last year and I caught one fish. And then I was like, screw this. I'm going to go fish Lake Fork the next day. And I caught one fish. And Lake of the Pines, I think that fish was 15 inches and Lake Fork was like 14 inches. And I caught that fish on a lipless. So I caught I went to Texas and caught 2 fish last year. And so to your point, Lake of the Pines, we fished like the river area and it was all grass. And so like that was my first exposure ever to grass. We fished the Ozarks, so it's all rock and wood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what that did for me was it tempered my expectations going into Guntersville. Like my goal was to catch a limit both days. I didn't do that, but for each, and I caught a limit each day. Just I didn't catch, like I didn't beat the minimum size for all the fish. So,
right.
But I mean, that's improvement. I think if you look at it from just like a macro view, like that's improvement. So that's what I would agree with you and say, like, you're not going to get any better just fishing the local holes all the time. Like you've got to go get yourself out of a comfort zone and just take the ego hit, like it sucks. I'm a pretty competitive guy, but you got to start somewhere, and nobody ever got first place in their first tournament ever. So I mean, it's just how it goes.
Yeah, and then just kept it going. Right, exactly. So all the Elite Series guys, you notice like they came from a certain region of the country, then they got in the Elite Series and they would fish different parts of the country, the smallmouth, part of the elite series or whatever, and they would struggle, and then all of a sudden 2 years later they've learned it, and now they're like deadly everywhere. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So it just takes time. Even at that highest level, you got to get out and do that stuff at some point. And you know what? There's nothing more fun than learning new water and learning a new way to fish. If you've never punched and you go down to Florida and you're throwing a 1 1/4 ounce weight, you're like, what is happening here? Going through a mat of just thickest junk ever down there, and all of a sudden you feel that and you see your line just jump.
And you pull it up and it's just a green sunfish.
That line, yeah, it's just could be, very well could be, but we'll be doing that next year. I'm sure some people will on Ocalapalooza. But dude, is it worth every penny to go and explore and fish these new places and learn those new techniques and styles? I just can't stand the same old boring stuff. The local clubs, that they go around and fish the same stuff. I would just get bored of it. I mean, I would just get bored of doing the same lakes, the same thing and I get bored of the national trails that go to the same lakes. That's why I like to look for where are the new places I can go. I mean, I wasn't super thrilled about Guntersville because I've been there a couple of times and I'm like, all right. I mean, I do
That's
like
how I felt about Possum Kingdom again. I was like,
Yeah.
man, three times. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
but
anyway, any closing thoughts? Anybody closing thoughts?
yeah, if you ever catch a lamprey on a fish, post it on the internet and you'll get 4 million views. So,
Jeez. That's how many you're up to?
on TikTok, I'm at 150,000 likes on that video, and then on Instagram, I think it's at like 3 million views or something, or 2 million on Instagram.
That's cool, man. You did a good deed getting that lamprey off. That was cool. Very cool.
Yeah, everyone's arguing on whether or not they're invasive. And I will tell you, here's your biology lesson for the day. They are not invasive in that water. They are freshwater lampreys. So they're perfectly in home.
There you go.
And they're disgusting.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was kind of sick seeing what it did to that fish on its head. But
Dude, he was about to eat his brain.
yeah, he was getting there.
You know what though, man? I'm happy for you. Like if that reel goes viral, it's like it's your content. You created it. It happened to you. It's not some BS like some guy stole a bunch of fishing knots and then put it on the internet and got 120,000 followers from it.
Right.
Like, so
Yeah.
I hope it blows up, man, for real. Like,
I think that's the part of kayaking I like though, is like you always see random stuff like that.
Yes.
It's like I didn't even notice the lamprey at first, and I saw it. I was like, "Dang, I want to take a video of that because like that's so random. That's like unique, just like it's the adventure of fishing." So
I feel like I'm the Bill Dance of kayak fishing. Like I'm always
that's what you should start doing is blooper reels. Like I should see if I have you spinning in a circle on one of my GoPros.
Oh, that's funny. All right, fellas. I think we're good to go. Yeah, I guess we'll find out who the other person was. Maybe we'll try to get them something extra in their bag.
I think Billy headed up there.
Yeah, I think I had up there. It was Travis.
Yeah.
Travis, but it would be cool if you put it in the chat. But hey, Drew, real quick.
I was Travis. Okay. Oh,
yeah,
good.
I know you want to go. There's one more thing from the first event that was really cool that I would like to see get more traction going forward. And it's we give away
yes,
kayak.
Good call.
Yeah, and I think we the tickets it's not so obvious, and we're gonna make it more obvious going forward. We're gonna put that kayak. We're gonna make people carry it around, I think is what we said. But Drew, you can explain it. Yeah.
So basically, we're gonna be raffling off what is it? A U10 from New Canoe.
The new one
for pediatric cancer. So the new one, the U10, and basically that
apparently
goes to
those are real
Hunt
popular,
Foundation.
So.
They are. That's gonna be a sweet boat over there at Whitehall. So Water Dog Outfitters from Steve is gonna have it there, and you guys can test those out. New Canoe is the headline sponsor or the kayak manufacturer sponsor of the Wild Whitehall event. So you guys, we need to raise more money. We're gonna hopefully even find a way to maybe sell tickets online beforehand or do something. Maybe we give it even a ticket away to the people who register early in their gift bags. One ticket, but we got to get more money for pediatric cancer than the 400 and something bucks we raised at the first event, because we can do a better job. So I'm glad you're promoting this now, Billy, because that's very, very important. So
and 40 of that were my dollars. So we can definitely do a better job.
I'm sure Alex Red put in like 150.
And we're gonna
Yeah, I
do the
was
same
shocked
thing.
that one
in
of us didn't win.
Missouri.
So
Yeah. Old Town in Missouri. We're gonna do the same thing. So
Yeah, exactly.
every event, we're gonna raffle off a kayak. How often do you see that at a tournament? Like where you raffle?
Not so much anymore.
And for cancer, so the kids, like, yeah.
Good cause, man. Good cause. Thanks for bringing that up, Billy. And we will, I guess, catch you guys at the next one. We'll try to get a graphic out sooner, promote it, and then do a cool little giveaway or something like this at future shows as well. But hopefully you guys like the After Dark version of this, and maybe we'll do it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your
Right.
attention to something
Maybe we'll have some like After Dark.
Yeah.
You are listening to
Bye, everyone, and
Adventure
watch out for
Series.
the wild monkeys.
Kayak Adventure
in
Series.
Michigan.
This is
You're headed up
where
there.
you choose
Yeah, right.
your own adventure. You
Bye,
want to be
everyone.
offshore, you want to be
See ya.
shallow, you want to go up the creek.